So grade 9, welcome to your debate class for this school year. And for sure, you have heard of a lot of things that had happened in the previous years regarding a debate class. But what's going to be really challenging is how debate works in this kind of setup. With this arrangement that we are using Zoom and that you are there in your respective homes and I'm here in school. Or better yet, you might be actually thinking, can debate even be done in this arrangement? Yes, it can be. It can really be done. But before though I present the mechanics on how we could possibly do the debate class, please take note of the class code for our debate subject so that you can enroll. You can enter then our Edmodo class for debate 9. The class code for debate is, I hope you are ready. Is everybody ready for me to give the class code? Is everybody ready? The class code is all in lowercase R-I-V-I-K-T. I can type it in, I'll just type it in the chat box. That's the class code. Has everybody seen it in the chat box? Please say yes, or do present this in your frame.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So that's the class code for debate 9. Expect, by the way, that I'll also send an assignment in Edmodo, an assignment that you'll have to answer using Edmodo as well. Have you tried navigating yourselves in Edmodo? Have you? Anybody? Hello? Hello?
Sir.
Have you tried exploring the Edmodo page?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Because you just
Yes,
might
sir.
not be
Not
able
yet.
you
Not
just
yet,
might
sir.
not be able to find the assignment by the time I send the assignment in Edmodo.
Sir, it's out. Frozen. It's frozen. No, sir. No, sir.
You're muted,
Hello?
sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Can hear you, na, sir.
Thank God.
Yes, sir.
There are some problems with the internet connectivity in IA as of this time, and it's just happening now. And we do not know what's causing this. So we'll just go on. We'll see how things will be. Has everybody noted now the class code?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please find the time to navigate yourselves in the page of Edmodo so that you'd know where to find the assignment. You'd also know how to work with the many things that are going to be sent soon in the Edmodo page, in our Edmodo group. I'd like to then throw this question to you. What are your impressions of the debate class? What are your impressions of a debate class, Kathy?
Um, I guess, sir, it's gonna be intense.
Intense. What made you think that what made you say that there's going to be an intense kind of class in a debate group?
I've witnessed the debates of Ate Erica, the previous senior high schools during the CADPOL, and they were really good, sir.
Oh, so you got that impression because of the debates that you've seen.
Yes, sir.
There's a statement from Shalila here. According to Shalila, in a debate you trash talk. There's trash talking that's going to happen. Trash talking may happen in an argumentative arrangement. When people argue, they may trash talk. They may end up trash talking each other. But that's not how things will actually work in debate. The good thing with debate is, no, wait, I'm still going to admit mad. The good thing with debate is that there is a format that we're going to follow. Debate is formatted. And we really have to follow this format. If not for this format, argumentations may be limitless. Argumentations may end up in things that can't anymore be controlled. Thanks to these formats, formal ways of doing argumentations have been created or introduced. And there are just a lot of formats that we can do. In CADBOL, or previously, CADBOL used the British parliamentary format. In the recent years, the UP Kadugong Bulan community used the Asian parliamentary format in its debate competitions. But debate isn't limited to these two formats only. Students of mine before had chances to go to do debate with the Oregon Oxford format. Just last school year, the batch of Juliana Ingito was the first to have the Lincoln Douglas format. Whatever the format may be, for as long as there is one that can be used, we can do debate. In a debate format, speakers are assigned particular roles. They'll be given a task or a particular task, and each role corresponds to what a debater can only do. For instance, just for the purpose of an example, the whip. The whip in the British parliamentary format can never give a new argument. That's the limitation of the roles of the whip. But can the whip elevate arguments? Yes. Can the whip present new angles of the arguments? Yes. But can the whip present new arguments? The answer is a big no. So that's what we're referring to by roles and task assigned to a particular speaker?
Frozen.
Do I look frozen again?
The Frozen.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about now?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Okay.
It's okay now, sir.
Okay. Oh, this is too much to handle. What about now? Why can't I see you moving? You're all frozen in my frame. From my camera, the only person that I could see moving is myself. In your, I can't see any of you moving at all. Why is that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Magandang hapon po,
Sir.
Melvin.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, okay. I can hear you. I can already hear you now. Okay. Who among you here have noticed before this was quite evident before, who among you here have noticed the people who assembled in the plaza in the city during Sundays late in the afternoon? Have you seen them? They would actually gather around and then argue.
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed this? They would actually fight, not perhaps fight. It's too violent of a word to use, but they would actually raise their voices that loud. Can everybody hear me clearly this time?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I can see some of you moving already. Okay. Going back, if you have been in the city on Sundays, late in the afternoon, sometime at 4, around 5, or even going 6, you would notice that you would have noticed that there had been people gathering around two other people arguing about which religion is actually better than the other. Have you noticed that?
Yes, sir.
They would actually try to, that kind of attempt actually invites so much of an audience. They would try to point fingers at each other. They would raise their voices. And then, yes, true enough, it's an attention getter. Is that debate? Can we call that, or will that qualify as debate?
No.
Unfortunately, that's not how debate works. However, that belongs under argumentation. That qualifies under argumentation, but not for debate. This is where debate has to be paired with, has to be in, not paired, has to be in contrast, has to be set in contrast with another means of doing argumentation, and that's verbal wrangling. When people argue and their manner of argumentation has no limitations, the manner has not achieved any level of formality or restriction, that is verbal wrangling. And that is quite dangerous. In school, we do not advocate the use of verbal wrangling. The reason in IA that we are providing debate is for students to defray from the use of verbal wrangling, because it is quite unhealthy and it is quite unprofessional. To a sense, it's unprofessional. Let's recall the ones that happened in the plaza. When one person speaks, what could possibly happen is, or yeah, when I saw some of these conversations, what happened was that person A spoke, and while he was speaking, person B said something as well. In effect, no one is now listening to the other, as both were speaking at the same time. So how would you expect for one to be understood very well or to be understood at all if the attempt to listen to the other wasn't even done? But they did it that way because that's purely verbal wrangling. If only it were done in debate, if only they took on a format, then things would have gone a different route. It could have been an entirely different story. If there were a format, then they could have taken turns. They could have set limitations of each other. They could have told each other that at this point you will not say something because it's now my turn. Verbal wrangling at worst would even lead into something violent. Yet again, that's not what we ask of students to do. What we would want you to do is to practice the art and skill of debate. Allow me to emphasize that. The art and skill of debate. Debate is an art. It is. It is and will forever be an art of intimidation. Let me just share that to you. Debate will forever remain an art of intimidation. You intimidate not purely with the use of hatred, rancor, or violence. You get to intimidate the other side or the opposing speaker with the intellect that comes out from the words that you said. You intimidate the opposing speaker with the knowledge that you possess given a particular topic. And you can intimidate the opposing speaker by the posture that you exhibit when you speak. Upon accomplishing these things, without a doubt, you can qualify as a good debater. Earlier, Kathy said she was able to see the batch of Erica Limbago when they had their chance to debate in Catbull. The batch of Erica Limbago had their debate exposure started when they were in grade 7. It was in grade 7 that they started having debate with me because their grammar lessons were, the discussion of their grammar lessons could be done sometime in January to Feb. And so I could insert for like a month or two the discussion and debate, and I could even do practical activities in the classroom. When they were in grade 8, the case was the same. And I think it's that batch that had more years exposed to debate compared to the other batches. Can debate be learned in just a matter of a year or so, a month? Perhaps it can be. But you have to also condition yourselves that by the time you enter this debate class, you should let the debater in you come out. I should tell you this. I once had a student, her name is Regine Juan, the sister of Raisa. There came a year where when I asked her to join the UP Kadugong Bulan competitions to represent IAE. When I approached her, she was adamant in refusing my request. She kept on saying, no, sir. No, sir. I'm not really a debater, sir. Sir, I don't know how to debate. She kept on repeating these words to the point that she was about to shed a tear because of the request that I made. For some reasons, she just gave in. She said yes, and she represented the school. Surprisingly, she made it to the finals. And she did not know right from the start that she could make it to the finals. All the while, she was ready to just end it in the elimination rounds. But she succeeded. She made it. She made it. Who would have known that that debater was in her that entire time? In the classroom, she was never into debate. She could argue with people. I mean, she's the argumentative type though. Like whenever you speak with her and that she feels like her point is better than yours, she could argue with you, but she never saw herself joining an academic competition for debate. Only to find out that when she had the chance, she actually stood out, and she was awarded for this. She actually stood out as one of the best speakers. See? I could sense that quite a number of you from this class are not into debate, or that you thought you are not into debate. Some of you might have thought already, debate is not for me, or that I'm shy. I'm a shy type of person. I'm quite the timid person. That shyness, that timidity, I tell you, won't be so much of a big help. Sir, debate makes me nervous. Just like what I've kept on saying to my Vem, Kathy, they both know this. Nervousness is normal. In all of my public speaking classes, I tell them, I have kept on telling them, nervousness is nothing but normal. To feel butterflies in our stomach, that's normal. But our goal is to make these butterflies fly in formation. Remember that, Vem? Remember that, Kat? Making butterflies fly in formation. That means that you will have then conquered your nervousness. You have used your nervousness as a motivation to better your performance. You've used that nervousness as the springboard, as the catapult to make you perform in ways that you could never imagine. Experience-wise, that had been proven to me. Regine Juan proved that so well to me. She did not deny, she was scared, she was nervous, but did she not succeed? She did. You ask Vem and Kathy, though their case was on a different style of public speaking because it was on extempo. I think it was on extempo that the both of you have joined. Extempo? Kath, Vem? Extempo, okay. At first, these two, Vem and Kathy, were very hesitant to join at first. I can recall that. When I requested both of them to join the Kadugong Bulanon competitions, It was as if all that I needed was to kneel just to let them say yes. In the case of Corinne, Corinne's contest was an essay writing contest. I think that was on essay writing, Corinne. So the nervousness of Corinne, I don't know, I can't really speak much for it though, but I feel like the nervousness of Corinne is not probably of the same category as the nervousness felt by Kathy and Bem. I can recall the face of Bem for the first time that I asked her to speak. I can just recall how worried she was, because it's normal to feel that way at first. But take note, despite the presence of the many contestants during the actual competitions, Bem and Kathy made it. They both made it. I hope that at that point they used, I think this is what they did. They used that nervousness as the stepping stone to be able to do more. They did not let that nervousness get the better of them. I should also inform you, I've had students before who allowed their nervousness in debate to take over, and the result was something not good. Yes. I've had a student who spoke in debate but did not continue whatever it is that she was saying and ended up crying. Why? The student felt so nervous. The student felt so scared. Nervousness perhaps was brought by the fear of being judged. The fear of being judged too early or too soon by the people listening to her. Let that judgment come from them. You could care less about what people say, because what matters most is your performance. And that's the performance that I'm going to score in debate. All that I'm hoping is that by the time this debate class starts, because it will soon start, like we are going to really have debate sessions. By the time that happens, you'll really debate like debaters. You'll debate with the best that you can. Anyway, you're at home. You're just at home. If you want to hammer your table, if you want to hit the wall because of the outrage of opinions, it's your house that you're destroying, not mine. Just be ready, because when you're at home and you're doing this, people are also watching you. What is wrong with my child? What is IA making? IA is now turning them into vehement monsters. What's going on? You don't need to be very violent for you to be called a good debater. That's also another thing. You don't need to be so fierce just so people could call you a good debater. I was reminded of 2012. There was a student from Buhaw Wisdom School. I just would like to mention the name. Diez is his family name. He was the pair of Faith Arancana. The boy spoke calmly. He was very calm while delivering his speech. Whenever questions were raised, even if the opponent raised them in a manner that is too intimidating, what do I mean by that? The voice was very loud. It was kind of attacking him. Even if that was the style, he handled the situation so well. He was so calm. He spoke like, okay, that's a very good question. Actually, that's how calm he was. And then he delivered his arguments. He need not hit the table hard. He need not raise his voice. But he was awarded as the best speaker of the final rounds. See? You don't have to sound too strong or too fierce or violent, appear violent for you to be considered a very good debater. Though I said earlier that debate is and will forever be an art of intimidation, there are so many ways to intimidate an opponent. If your speech is of good content, then I tell you, that's one style to intimidate an opponent. I know that what I'm sharing or saying right now are quite too easy to rather say than do. These are easier said than done. Because if I ask you now, who from you are debaters, or who from you here is a debater, how many of you would probably raise a hand? Who among you here feels that he is or she is a debater? I'm ignoring Day. I'll put Dave in the waiting room.
No,
Is,
sir.
is there no one else who would want to raise a hand? Anybody else? Who among you here likes to argue with people? Who among you here are the argumentative type? Like you are ready to defend yourself whenever people want to say that their idea is better than yours. Who among you here, this one might be more relatable. Who among you here, shy? Alexandra said, shy. Who among you here are fond of answering back to the parents because they would not allow you to do something that you wished you could do? Oh, so many hands are being raised. They're lying. What did Ma'am Zen say? Lying is a mental sin, so don't do that. Oh. Honestly, you have not really tried answering back to your parents? Who among you here likes to argue with a classmate? Like when you get inside your room, I just want to argue with you. No, of course that's not how ridiculously it would work. On that idea alone of you trying to defend yourself, like when your parents ask you, "Where have you been? Why have you gone home late?" And then you say, "I was late because I had to do a lot of work and there were a lot of practices that we had to do in school." And then your parents would say, "No, you were late because you're just playing with your friends." "No, I was late." That's already an attempt to defend. That's being argumentative. A touch of being argumentative. Being argumentative doesn't have to be violent, where you should fight people all the time and appear as though you're a better speaker than the other. Perhaps one question that's really running into your minds now is, how will this work in debate? How will this setup really work in debate? At first, I even thought that debate might just have to be foregone this school year. But that would be a waste of 1 year where students cannot enjoy the art of debating. So allow me to enlighten you how debate works. Let's assume that there is a particular format, the Asian parliamentary format. The Asian parliamentary format is composed of 6 speakers with 3 speakers in each side. 3 in the affirmative side, 3 on the opposition side. 6 speakers in total. Which means that in that debate period, I'll meet with only 6 students. In Zoom, through Zoom. 6 students through Zoom. So what will the other students do? There are 2 choices. The rest of the students may be placed in the waiting room, or you can see the debate go on, but you should set yourself on mute. Let's try. Let's assume that the debate round will be by Chelsea, Jacob, and Alex versus Kenneth, Jade, and Spencer. What's going to happen is that these 6 people will unmute themselves. Can I request the 6 that I've mentioned to unmute themselves? Okay. While the rest of you will be on mute. Or I'll send you to the waiting room. How does that work? For instance, please do not be surprised if you'll be out of this group. Oh, but you'll just be in the waiting room. Then I'll put you in the waiting room, Vem. Put in waiting room. So where is Vem now? She's in the waiting room. By the time the debate round ends, Vem will be brought back to this room. Vem is taking time in joining in. So that's the process. That's a process. It will not be, where's Vem? No, Vem is here. So that's what's going to happen. Vem did not really leave the Zoom chat. Vem wasn't removed from the Zoom chat. She was just placed in the waiting room. However, if I feel, as your debate teacher, if I feel that it's all right that you be the audience, then all of you will just be here, but you have to set your computers on mute, your speakers on mute, so that the only voices I could hear are the voices coming from the debaters. To the 6, can I request you to set yourselves on, to the 6 that I called earlier, can I request you to set yourselves on mute once more? Okay, let's try to have an informal debate. Ready for this? An informal debate between 2 persons, just 2 persons. I'll give you this is what Kenneth and Dave tried to do at that time that I made an initial Zoom call with them before the start of classes. I asked them to do a sample informal debate with the rules that I just devised. However, they ended up showing me their garden. They went around their backyard, their front yard. They showed me their garden, the fish pond, the malunggay plant. And why with very productive. That was a very productive debate. So now I'd like to call in 2 people to do an informal debate of topics that have been considered as dead propositions. In debate, there is what we call as a dead proposition. A dead proposition is a proposition that has been debated over and over again. It's an overly debated topic. Perhaps years ago it was already discussed, and all possible arguments and opinions have already been elucidated. Once the proposition is brought up again today, nothing new can come out from it, and so it's considered a dead proposition. So just for this purpose, here's the set of rules. When I call your name, when I give the turn to you, you speak for a minute. I'll give you a time limit of 1 minute. And then you deliver all ideas that you can think of. And right after that minute, the second person will be given another 1 minute to ask you questions regarding or to raise questions regarding the things that you said. The questions to be, take note, the questions to be raised by the other person should be found on the speech or ideas said by the first speaker. Once the questioning is done, we will go to person 2, who will have 1 minute to deliver his or her ideas. And once the time is over, we'll give person 1 just a minute to raise all possible questions regarding the speech of person 2. Is that clear? So 1 minute, 1 minute. Person 1 or debater 1 will be King. King, your debater 1. So please unmute yourself. Debater 2 will be Alessandra. So Alessandra, please unmute. Okay, the both of them have been unmuted already. They have already unmuted themselves. So we begin with this. Here are how propositions are generally structured. Resolved that. You might want to write this down. You might want to write this down. Resolved that. Resolved, huh? It should be resolved. Not just resolved. It's resolved. That, what's this weekend, Dave? By the way, King, as
Yes,
your
sir.
person 1, you're the person who agrees with the topic. Alessa, you're the one who disagrees with the topic. So you don't want that topic to be followed. Wait, where are you? Are you all there? King, where's King? King?
Yes, sir.
What about
Sir.
Alessandra? Can I hear something from you, Alessandra? Hello? 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 Do I still sound clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about from Alessandra's
Yes,
side?
sir.
Because Alessandra will be one of the speakers this afternoon. Alessandra? Again, King, can I hear from you, King?
Hello, hello, hello.
I'll just call in someone else because I think there is some problem with the audio of Alessandra. Harvey? King looks so happy. Harvey, can you please turn your mic on?
Hello?
Okay, your mic sounds so good, Harvey. Okay, the both of you will be debating on this. King, you agree with this? You agree with this topic? Harvey, you don't. King, you are on the government side, affirmative side. Harvey, you're on the opposition or negative side. Resolved that priests should be allowed to get married. Resolved that priests should be allowed to get married. King,
Why? I don't. Why?
Did you capture the proposition that I gave? Have you captured it?
Yes, sir.
What about Harvey?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened to the camera of King? I'll give you 1 minute to 2 minutes to prepare. Start. To the ones who are not participating in this debate round, I just have to also tell you that in every debate round, there is a preparation time. We allot a prep time before the debate round officially begins. King, you don't put the question there because I'm watching you. I can see the what the group chat contains. Again, this house resolved that priests should be allowed to get married. One minute more. King, Harvey, you have 1 minute more. Fifteen seconds. No flip tops here, no flip tops. Time is up. King, time is up.
Yes, sir.
Harvey, time is up as well. Before we give the floor to King, I should also share to you that if you want to support one of them, like for instance, when there is something that King said and you found it really good and that it's really convincing, you can do this. This means, or this actually is paired with words. When people do this, they say, here, 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 here. This is in support to the idea which you think is a strong one. But if you dislike what was said, or if you feel like what was said didn't make sense at all, or that you are not in support to the person speaking at the time, you can say, shame, shame, and you do this. Here, here, shame, shame. Not a combination. You don't combine them. You just have to choose. Here, here, shame, shame. King, we begin with you. Your 1 minute starts now. Go.
So I think priests should be married because why? How come other people can be married but priests cannot be? Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir.
I was
Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir. Again. Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, wait lang.
Don't panic. You don't have to panic. There's no need for you to panic.
Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir.
Yes, you can hear me.
You don't have to panic. King, this is just a trial run. Don't worry, King. I just wanted to give you the feels
Wait lang, sir.
of debate. And then
Hello, hello.
you try to be very thorough with the ideas you present. Give examples, situations. Learn to explain thoroughly the idea coming from you. King, are we now ready?
Wait lang, sir. Wait lang, sir.
Why, what's wrong? Someone is sending you a message. I bet someone is
No.
sending you a message. King,
No,
say
sir.
this. Someone is
I will-
typing, no? King, say this
No.
one. This one, King, because this one works. Here's another
I don't
situation,
know
King.
what to say, sir. I don't know. I don't know why.
Just
Can
try
I
this.
can I see the others, by the way, do shame shame? Do shame shame. Shame shame. Here, this is shame shame. Here. Sorry, this is shame shame. Sorry, this is shame shame. Here. This is here. Do
I
not
don't know what
combine
to
them.
say. Another
Do not
topic, sir.
combine. No, the topic was already given, and Harvey is ready. Go, King. The floor is now yours. Your time starts now.
Wait, I don't know what to say, sir.
Don't panic.
I'll search na lang, sir. Wait, sir.
The enemy has conceded.
GG na King.
Just look at Harvey. Look at Harvey, everyone. He's so bored. Like he was just waiting for King. He looks like this. It's like he has grown tired waiting for King. Harvey, oh, okay, King. I cannot see all your faces, sir. Oh, what happened? Harvey,
Yes.
can you do your piece now? Can you deliver what you want to say in 1 minute? Your time starts now.
For me, if it's so I believe that priests not are doesn't I can't say that they cannot be married because the Pope can like change it anytime. But for me, the reason why they cannot get married is because to emulate like Jesus, like unmarried and faithful. Because like for me, like you get easily distracted when you're like when you are into something else. Like you want like example, this is like you and this is something else. You're like prioritizing two things at once, and it's also confusing also. So that's only for me. So yeah.
Okay. More or less, you consumed a minute, exactly a minute here from my phone, from my stopwatch. You consumed a minute. How did it feel, Harvey?
Uh, very what you call that?
Very fulfilling. You feel like it's really gratifying. It has made your day. It completed your day, like that.
Yes, because my turn is done.
But take note, that was just for a minute. Soon,
Yes.
you will have to go through the experience of going for a full-blown debate format. For now, that would be all. The next time we meet, we'll do some trial runs again for debate, and we'll give everybody the chance to do this informal debate setup. If there are no questions, then goodbye and thank you.
Good.
Goodbye.
And thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Same.
Thank you, sir.
There's
Bye, sir.